Hi everyone. I'm going to read to you The Thule Society and the New World Order by Steve Van Natan. I'll post a link to the website that it's on in the description. And I hope that everybody learns from this. And I haven't read this before, so I hope I learn from this. And I hope you enjoy it. It's about the Thule Society, the Nazi German occult society. So here we go. In past programs, we have stated that the New World Order could not have been realized had it not been for the intense activities of various secret societies throughout the world. We have mentioned one worldwide secret society, the Brotherhood of Death Society, where the symbol is the skull and two crossed bones. The German Brotherhood of Death Society is the Thule Society. Adolf Hitler joined the society in 1919, becoming an adept under the leadership of Dietrich Eckart. Later, the Thule Society selected Hitler to be their leader of the New World Order, as Eckart revealed on his deathbed, saying, "Follow Hitler, he will dance, but it is I who have called the tune. I have initiated him into the social doctrine, opened his centers in vision, and given him the means to communicate with the powers." In August 1990, President George Bush announced that the world had now entered into a new world order. Shockingly, President Bush is an adept in an American Brotherhood of the Yale Skull and Bone Society. As we stated earlier, Bush's New World Order is virtually identical with Hitler's. The key connecting point is the common membership in their respective brotherhood. We will study this connection in depth today. Let us begin with a quick overview of the Thule Society, beginning with a study of its practices and relevant history. They were Satanists who practiced black magic. This means that they were solely concerned with raising their consciousness by means of rituals to awareness of evil and non-human intelligences in the universe, and with achieving means of communication with these intelligences. Concentrate on that seemingly innocent word, rituals. Christians equate a ritual to a church service, thereby not understanding its occultic meaning. The New Age Dictionary defines ritual as a ceremony to restore balance with nature and bring back lost harmony and sacredness. Remember, we are dealing with the satanic world, where good is called evil and evil good. The sacredness mentioned here is a satanic sacredness. Rituals literally are prescribed activities designed to allow demonic power to flow through the participants. These activities are prescribed chants, formula wordings, and carefully planned actions. As we noted last week, the effect is devastatingly powerful, as demonic force pours through the particulars, delivering a counterfeit spiritual experience which literally transforms their lives. Never skip over the word ritual, as it is a word of satanic power. Thule members practiced a form of sexual magic derived from a lodge in which Aleister Crowley was a member. Crowley was recognized as the foremost worshipper of Satan in the 19th century. The origin of this medieval magic can be traced to a Freemason, Robert Liddell, who founded the Societas Rosicruciana in 1865. While the actual sexual perversions which were practiced are too offensive to share, the results are not. Author Ravenscroft stated that indulgence in the most sadistic rituals awakened penetrating vision into the workings of evil intelligences and bestowed phenomenal magic powers. This is the Thule Society. Ravenscroft records its effect upon Hitler. Sexual perversion took a central place in Hitler's life. A monstrous sexual perversion was the very core of his whole existence, the source of his mediumistic and clairvoyant powers, and the motivation behind every act through which he reaped a sadistic vengeance on humanity. Eckart's final act was to initiate Hitler into a monstrous sadistic magic ritual, after which he was sexually impotent. Hitler's impotency had a deep psychological foundation. He knew sexual fulfillment through the extremes of sadism and masochism. This impotency delivered a final devastating blow to Hitler's psychological foundation, finally making him into the sadistic murderer that history knows. Thule society believed in communication with the hierarchy of supermen, the secret chiefs of the Third Order. The quality which make these beings supermen was occultic spirituality. Further, they believed in Madame Blavatsky's secret doctrine, which teaches that certain supermen had survived the destruction of Atlantis with their higher levels of consciousness intact. These supermen were Aryans. These two beliefs combined into one through the Thule Society and Hitler, culminating into the Nazi death camps. When one group of people incorporate into their spiritual belief structure that they are inherently superior to another group of people, it is inevitable that genocide will be attempted as soon as possible. The Thule Society regularly held occultic seances, during which time they communicated with demons who were either masquerading as a dead person or who were just appearing as their guiding spirits. Dietrich Eckart, Alfred Rosenberg, and Adolf Hitler invoked the Antichrist into manifestation at the mediumistic seances of the Thule group in Munich. Eckart believed he had been told by his guiding spirit that he would have the privilege of training the coming Great One, the Antichrist. From the beginning of their association, Eckart believed Hitler was Antichrist. Therefore, Eckart spared no occultic knowledge, ritual, or perversion in his attempt to fully equip Hitler for the role. Once the training was completed, Hitler believed he was born anew with that superpersonal strength and resolution he would need to fulfill the mandate ordained for him. Hitler literally equated this with the Christian claim to be born again. Now, let us look at the skull and bones rituals and beliefs. Little is firmly known about skull and bones because their secrecy since they were established in 1833 is as complete as any society in the world. However, they possess all the requirements of a true secret society. They were formed in secret and all their activities are carried out secretly. Membership is by invitation only. Political members are carefully screened as to suitability before they are invited to join. The first night of the new member, who is called an initiate, is critically important. The initiate swears total obedience and loyalty to the secret society. This pledge is bound by serious oaths, some of whom would be deadly if actually carried out. The first night is also critically important as it bounds the initiate to the society by means of ritual, oaths, and confessions. The skull and bones also incorporate sexual activities into their practices. The death of the initiate will be as frightful as the use of human skeletons and ritual psychology can make it. Sexual perversion is part of ritual psychology. Ron Rosenbaum, author of Esquire magazine article, stated that on initiation night, called Tap Night, if one could climb to the tower of Weir Hall, the odd castle that overlooks the Bones courtyard, one could hear strange cries and moans coming from the bowels of the tomb as the 15 newly tapped members were put through what sounded like a harrowing ordeal. Further initiates lay naked in coffins and tell their deepest and darkest sexual secrets as part of their initiation. These experiences in the coffins incorporated sexual pain and resulted in being born again, into the order, as we mentioned above. Powerful force charges through the participants of these ceremonies, transforming their lives dramatically. This type of ritual is classic Satanism. Anton LaVey states in his book, The Satanic Rituals, companion to the Satanic Bible, the ceremony of rebirth takes the place in a large coffin. This is similar to the coffin symbolism that is found in most lodge rituals. Make no mistake about it, any organization which utilizes this coffin ritual to simulate rebirth is practicing Satanism, including Skull and Bones. The Skull and Bones believe that on the night of initiation, the initiate dies to the world and to be born again into the order. Remember Hitler's belief that he had been born anew after his ritualistic initiation and training? This term is a common one in occultism. During the 1988 presidential campaign, a TV reporter asked Vice President Bush if he were a Christian. Bush initially stammered, but then said, "If you mean born again, then yes, I am a Christian." As born-again Christians carry out the ritual of water baptism by immersion to demonstrate that they have died to the old way of life and have been reborn into a new life, the occultists have their ritual to demonstrate the same life transformation. Rosenbaum continues his exposé of the born-again experience. Then it's into the coffin and off on a symbolic journey through the underworld to rebirth, which takes place in room number 322. There, the order clothes the newborn knight in its own special garments, implying that, henceforth, he will tailor himself to the order's mission. This ritual description is as occultic as any I have read, and truly reveals the skull and bones as occultic. One of the most sobering facets of this counterfeit born-again initiation ritual is that the initiate swears to an allegiance of the secret order that transcends any allegiance later in life. Author Bill Cooper captures this disturbing fact most succinctly. Members of the order, Skull and Bones, take an oath that absolves them of any allegiance to any nation or king or government or constitution, and that includes the negating of any subsequent oath which they may be required to take. They swear allegiance only to the order and its goal of a new world order. According to the oath Bush took when he was initiated into Skull and Bones, his oath of office as President of the United States means nothing. Since the oath as President occurred after the oath to Skull and Bones, it is not worth the paper in which it is printed. That kind of hold is powerful. Indeed, as Ron Rosenbaum began the research necessary to write his article for Esquire, he was warned about the power of Skull and Bones. The power of Bones is incredible. They have had their hands on every lever of power in the country. The only thing which is important to the Skull and Bones is their goal of a new world order. In conjunction with this understanding, remember one other secret society belief, i.e., the ends justify the means. As Rosenbaum continued his research, he found definite links between Bones and the Bavarian Illuminists. The Bavarian Illuminists were part of the original Masters of the Illuminati. First, Rosenbaum discovered documents which detailed the origins of the Bones back to Germany. These documents stated, Bones is a chapter of a core of a German university. The document described at length its relationship with this German secret society, the Thule Society, which led to the founding of the Skull and Bones in 1832. Secondly, Rosenbaum discovered that, above the arched walls above the vault of the Bone Sacred Room, number 322, is a painting of skulls surrounded by Masonic symbols. Above this painting is the slogan, in German, which means, Who is the fool, who is the wise man, beggar or king? Whether poor or rich, all's the same in death. This means that only the works which one does in this life is what matters. In death, all men share the same fate. This statement is very consistent with the teachings of secret societies, showing their works-oriented philosophy. Thirdly, Rosenbaum discovered a haunting paragraph in the altar room of one of the Masonic lodges at Nuremberg that is closely associated with Illuminism. Haunting because at the altar room center, approached through an aisle of hanging human skeletons, is a coffin surmounted by a skull and crossed bones that looks exactly like the particular arrangement of jaw bones and thigh bones in the official Bones emblem. Finally, the skull and crossbones was the official crest of another key Illuminist lodge. It is shocking also when we realize that German Nazi death camp guards wore this emblem of skull and bones on the shoulders of their uniforms. Without doubt, we have established Skull and Bones to be a Brotherhood of Death Society, which is itself tied to the Masters of the Illuminati. It is no wonder that Bush has been proclaiming the New World Order. Results. We have studied the common philosophical and religious links between the German Thule Society and Skull and Bones. We now need to study the historical results of the attempt of the Thule Society to establish a New World Order. After the Thule Society selected Adolf Hitler to be their leader of the New World Order, they faced the problem of practical implementation of this goal. They realized that their plans for world domination required control of military power of Germany. However, the military is controlled by those holding political power, and Germany was a democracy. Therefore, the Thule Society created the Nazi Party. The guiding spirits of the Thule Society became the guiding spirits of the Nazi Party. In only 10 tumultuous years, Hitler gained high political office, from which he catapulted himself into a position of absolute dictator in 1933. In 1938, Hitler began the final solution of the Jewish problem by initiating the Holocaust. In 1939, Hitler initiated World War II, which lasted until mid-1945. As I read the results, remember the James's words. Then the evil desire, when it is conceived, gives birth to sin, and sin, when it is fully matured, brings forth death. By 1945, the occultic sin conceived by the Thule Society had come to full completion. These are the results. Enormous armies were mobilized around the world. Russia, 12.5 million men, America, 12.4 million men, and so forth. Total worldwide mobilization, 59.5 million men. The death toll was almost incomprehensible. Russia, 10 million soldiers, 10 million civilians. Germany, 3 million soldiers, 500,000 civilians. Total human lives killed was 18.2 million soldiers and 16.3 million civilians for 34 million total deaths. When you add 18 million deaths from Hitler's death camps, you realize that over 54 million people lost their lives as the final result of the occultic practices and goals of the New World Order of that German Brotherhood of Death Society, the Thule Society. The 6 million Jewish deaths from Hitler's final solution represented 2/3 of the total worldwide Jewish population. Hitler came close to winning World War II, but God's timing was not yet come. However, some of the after effects of World War II served to set the stage for the current drive toward the New World Order. Alice Bailey states in her book, The Externalization of the Hierarchy, that the world must be united regionally before it can be united into one. Stalin repeated this concept shortly before his death in 1953. World War II certainly provided the impetus for this type of reorganization. The world has reorganized militarily into NATO in Europe, the Warsaw Pact in Eastern Europe, and SEATO in Asia. Economic reorganization also occurred along approximately the same lines. Repeated cultural, economic, and religious regionalizations have been created since World War II. The infant one-world government was created as the United Nations in 1948. A similar effort was orchestrated after World War I as the League of Nations, but was defeated. One of the first actions of the United Nations was to create the nation of Israel, thus fulfilling God's prophecies to return her back to her promised land in the last days. Tremendous technological progress was achieved under the impetus of war. The atomic bomb was created, as were the jet engine, the rocket, and modern telecommunications. New Age author Alan Neuharth, in his book, Nearly One World, states that these inventions have brought the world to the threshold of a one-world government, economy, and religion, i.e. the New World Order. This brief review of the after effects of World War II clearly shows much was achieved that set the stage for the current New World Order. Let us now review some of the goals which secret societies today have for the New World Order. Keep in mind that the Skull and Bones is the driving force and is the first among equals among other secret societies and all other open organizations which are committed to this new order. One world government, the only answer to man's problems. One world economy, and one world religion. Man's evil actions historically are ascribed to his divisions into many different religions. Therefore, much emphasis is being laid on the reuniting into one religion. The current ecumenical movement is leading the charge towards this all-important goal. In a seminar held in Boston in August 1991, the current New England director of the Theosophical Society stated that, at the proper moment in world history, the Roman Catholic Pope would travel to Jerusalem to address a worldwide religious conference. In his speech, he would declare all the world's religions to be united into one. Thus, Alice Bailey's plan, stated almost 50 years ago, would be realized, i.e. that the Great One would reinstate the ancient mysteries religion as on the New World Order religion. These mysteries, when restored, will unify all faiths. One of the most basic plans after the New World Order is established is to reduce the world's population from its present 6 billion to 2 billion. Thus, birth control and abortion were early identified as the necessary to begin reducing population. Our current emphasis on man's devastating effects upon the earth and upon global warming and pollution are designed to conceive people that only united drastic action from the United Nations can save this planet from collapse. How can this drastic reduction be achieved within this short time frame? The basic answer is war. Bailey, in her book, The Externalization of the Hierarchy, page 548, states that the atomic bomb will be turned over to the one world government and will be used against any nation who refuses to go along with the New World Order. Bill Cooper, in Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars, from his book, Behold a Pale Horse, quotes a document from the Bilderberg Secret Society, which is an offshoot of Skull and Bones. Since most of the general public will not exercise economic restraint, we must take control of the world by use of economic silent weapons in the form of quiet warfare and reduce the dangerous levels of consumption of the world to a safe level by a process of benevolent slavery and genocide. How could anyone ever think of slavery and genocide as benevolent? This was the precise thinking of Hitler as he was planning his New World Order. He was going to rid the world of all the undesirables by benevolent warfare. We reviewed the horrible results in the beginning of the program. However, these figures pale in comparison to the deaths of 4 billion people. At this point, you may protest that the drive to the New World Order is being achieved peacefully. This is true, and when it is fully achieved, will fulfill biblical prophecy, which states in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 3, "For when they shall say, Peace and safety, then suddenly destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape." Further, these plans, if carried out, will also fulfill biblical prophecy in Revelation 6:4. "And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword." Thus we see that the New World Order goals of the secret societies, chief of which is Skull and Bones, when completed, would fulfill many biblical prophecies. And thank you for watching, and the link will be posted below. So, hope you all learned something. Thanks a lot.
Woo!
Bye-bye.